Welcome everybody, this is Alex from the Office Lab. Did you ever notice that there's an integrated map chart function in the recent versions of Microsoft Excel? Well, in today's Excel guide tutorial, I'm gonna teach you everything you have to know in order to use that map chart for an awesome data visualization. The cool thing about this map charts function is that it automatically detects locations in your data, like countries and cities, and then matches them with a database in the background and automatically loads a map that displays these respective locations. In the first part of this tutorial, I'm gonna show you what kind of data you can display for your locations and how to make the most out of it from a visual design point of view. And in the second part, I'm gonna show you how good this automatic detection of locations in your data actually works. So I highly recommend to watch till the end of this tutorial so that you can get to know how to make the best use of this map chart in Excel. So let's get right into it. If you want to use a map chart to display your data, you can work with two different types of values. The first type is numerical values, like you can see here where you have the revenue displayed that has been generated in each country. The other type is categorical. That means you assign every location to a certain category that you defined. Now we're going to start with the numerical data and have a look at the categorical after that. Let's look at our example data. In the first column we have 4 countries, and in the second column we have some revenue values for each country. Now we're going to insert a map chart for only 2 of these countries in the beginning. So let's select these and go to the Insert tab. And there we're going to select the map chart. And there it is, our automatically generated map chart. Let's quickly resize it so that we can have a better look at it. The first thing to notice is that obviously both countries have been detected correctly. And the second thing is that because we only selected countries that are on the same continent, only this continent, which is North America in this case, is displayed. If we put the cursor on the different countries, we can see that the data points have been matched correctly. And the colors that are chosen by default are a light blue for the low revenue values in Canada and a dark blue for the high revenue values in the USA. Mexico, on the other hand, is a country for which we didn't provide any data, so it is displayed in this light gray. If we select multiple countries, all of them will be colored according to the scale you can find on the right side here, with the minimum and maximum values displayed. And if you want to have any of your countries highlighted, you can simply click on it and it will be highlighted in its respective color. Now let's have a look at how the selection of all 4 countries changes the scope of this map chart. So to do this, we click on the map chart and then go to Chart Design, select Data, and then we select the whole range of data with all 4 countries. And now you can see the whole world map is displayed instead of just one continent. This is because we included Argentina, which is on another continent than the other countries, and so the next level above continent level obviously is world level. Now that we had a quick look at how the map chart works in general with numeric values, let's see how we can customize and optimize its design. To change the chart design, you have to select the chart and then you see various quick design options in the upper bar. I recommend to select the black background since it increases the contrast and better highlights the considered countries. Then, if you want to change the color setup of your countries, you find different predefined setups from which you can choose. Right next to it at Change Color. However, if you don't like any of these and want to choose your own color combination, you have to right-click on one of the countries and select Format Data Series. Now here you have different options. One of the options is if you go to the left tab, you can select the color for the countries that don't have any data provided for. So if you select the fill, this will change the color of these countries. Set it to black, they will disappear. Set it to yellow, doesn't look that good. If you set it to automatic, it will have this gray tone. Let's go back to the right tab. Here you have different options for your map at first. So you can choose, for example, the map projection, because there obviously exist different types of map projections. So you can either choose one of them, or if you set it to automatic, it will just automatically select one. Below that, you have the option to select the map area. An interesting option here is the only regions with data setup, which lets all the countries for which no data have been provided disappear. However, if you want those countries to be displayed in this gray tone, you have to choose either world or automatic. Now, as promised, let's have a look at the color customization of your countries with data. First, you can select between a 2-color or a 3-color gradient style. I personally suggest to only use 2 colors if you work with numeric values to not create too much confusion in your chart. Now that we chose a 2-color gradient style, we can choose the lower and upper bound for our gradient setup. By default, you have the lowest and highest value selected. But let's assume you want to better differentiate between really high and really low values. Then you can manually define a bigger value for the lower bound so that every country having a revenue equal or lower than that value has the same color. So here we set the lower bound to, let's say, 400K, and that means now that Canada and Mexico have the same color, as they both are equal or lower than that 400K lower bound value. And then finally, of course, you can select the colors you want to have for your lower and upper bound, and all the countries that have some revenue values between those bounds will have some gradient version of those 2 colors. Now let's have a look at categorical data for our locations and how to create a map chart out of that. Here we have some country data where they are classified by market potentials. We have 3 categories in total, from low to high potential. And now if you create a map chart with these data, the map chart function automatically recognizes that these are no numeric values but categorical and adjusts the map chart accordingly. So let's insert this map chart and quickly resize it again so that we can see it better. And as you can see, all the countries are now colored based on what category they belong to. So that worked perfectly, all countries detected. And if you go to the legend, you can select a category, click on it, and then only the countries that belong to this category are highlighted, which is a pretty cool feature, I think. Then again, when it comes to customization of your categorical map chart, you have the same quick options in the upper bar as before. So, for example, you can select some preset colorings for your countries. However, if you want to choose a specific color for a category, it gets a bit tricky because you can't change the category color for all countries of that category at once. Instead, you have to select and change the color of the countries one by one using the fill settings. So to show you, let's quickly change the color of the mid-potential category. So we start by changing the fill of Canada to red. And then we do the same for Mexico. Change the fill to red. And the same for the last country, which is Germany. Set the fill to red as well. And now eventually we have to change the color of the category in the legend as well. And that's how you change the color of a whole category in a map chart. I know it's a bit annoying, but it's the only way to do it. Now, at the end of this tutorial, I want to test the automatic location recognition and matching of the map chart function. So we're going to test what kind of geographical input is recognized correctly and what kind of input doesn't work. For that purpose, I prepared some example data on different geographical levels. So we start by having a look at the continental level for the input data. Then we go down to country level, and then we have a closer look at the USA. So we go on a state level, looking at different states, and then we go even deeper, looking at the county level for the state Georgia. And then the deepest level is postal code level. So you put in postal codes and it automatically detects and displays this postal code area. hopefully, right? So let's test it. So let's start by inserting an empty map chart. So no data selected, and make it a bit bigger. And now the first thing we want to do is select data and just select some empty cells to show you what the result of this is, because we get an error message that says map charts need geographical data such as country, region, state, province, county, or postal code. So that gives us a hint on what data are actually expected and what data are most likely working with this map chart. So let's start by having a look at the continent data. Let's select them. And as you can see, you see nothing. I mean, the legend on the right says that these data are selected, but nothing is displayed. So obviously continents don't work with this map chart, which is a bit unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do about it. So let's just mark them in red and continue with the country level data. Yeah, we already tested these countries before in our examples, so it should work just fine like before, and it does. Now one thing we can test is if the country level also works with abbreviations, so the 2 or 3 digit country codes. So let's quickly put them in. And as you can see, it also works with these abbreviations, which is pretty cool. Now let's make a quick test and put in some nonsense. And as you can see, only 3 are recognized correctly. And in the top right corner, there's a message that says, we plotted 75% of the locations from your country data with high confidence. So it tells us that it couldn't recognize this XX, which makes sense. Okay. So we can mark the country level in green. Now let's go one level deeper. So we're going to have a look at US states. We have New York, Texas, California, and Georgia in here, and all of them are recognized, which is awesome. And now we do the same test as before and have a look at the abbreviations of these states. And yeah, all of them work. Nice. And what's interesting here is that we have the abbreviation CA in both the country and the state data. So for the state data, it obviously means California, and in the country data, it means Canada. So it seems like this map chart function somehow takes into consideration what the other data entries are when it's not sure what exactly an abbreviation or location name means, which is a pretty intelligent feature, I think. So we can mark the state level in green as well, and continue with the county level, which is an even deeper level. So for this, we selected 4 counties in Georgia. Let's see if it works. And it seems to work as well. However, there is one county missing, which is, I guess, Henry is missing. So Henry is not recognized correctly. The message says we plotted 75% again. So maybe it works if we put county behind it to make it more clear. And yeah, it works. So yeah, seems like some more specification might help if it's not recognized directly. So generally it works, so let's mark it in green as well. Now our last test is on a postal code level. So we go one level deeper, and for this we selected some postal codes from the county Clayton. And look at this. This is simply amazing. Look at that level of detail. I really love it. I think this is just awesome. I think based on this testing, we can conclude that this map chart function is a really powerful tool that allows you to visualize geographical data within seconds, even on a really deep micro level. And that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and got some new insights and inspiration for your own work with Microsoft Excel. I highly recommend to have a look at my other videos, especially my dashboard videos, where you can see this map chart in a real use case. And if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in exciting Excel and PowerPoint content. See you next time.